We're going to talk about conditionals, okay? What are conditionals? First of all, a conditional is a sentence involving or expressing a condition. I'm going to say, wow. Oh, let me record this. Oh, I'm recording already, okay. A conditional is a sentence involving or expressing a condition, as in the first clause of the sentence, if it rains, he won't go, okay? So what is the condition here? That is the condition. If it rains, he won't go. Okay, so this is the condition, and this is what may happen if this condition is given. Okay, if this situation happens, it's real. So that is a conditional. It's a sentence involving or expressing a condition. Okay, remember that. That is a conditional. Another sentence like that. If you study, you will pass the exam. Okay, if you study, you will pass the exam. That is an example. Yes, Joel, I use IQ option and I use MetaTrader. I use both, okay? IQ option and MetaTrader. I'm in Forex. So let me write it down. If you, let me put it here. If you study, you will pass the exam. Okay, so that's a conditional. What is the condition? What is the condition in here? Let's see, identify the condition in this sentence. What is the condition? Come on, quick. Identify the condition. The condition is if you study. Exactly. If you study, that is the condition, okay? And this is what may happen if you do it. Very good. That's the condition. Excellent. You're understanding. You see, you're very intelligent, guys. Never let anybody tell you the opposite. Okay. So, see, got no space for this. Okay, there you go. So, there are 4 types of conditionals, but now we're going to discuss the conditional type 0. Okay, there are 4 types of conditionals, but now we are going to discuss the conditional type 0. Okay, a conditional in general consists of 2 parts. We have the if clause, let me see if I can. We have the if clause, which is the hypothesis. We call that the hypothesis, which begins with if and the main clause, which shows the result of the hypothesis, okay? The result of the hypothesis. So, example, if you come early, you will stay longer, like more time. If you come early, you will stay longer. What is that situation? Okay, imagine that you want to visit your girlfriend or your boyfriend, okay? But you can be at his house until 10 p.m. You cannot pass 10 p.m. there. So your girlfriend or your boyfriend tells you, if you come early, you will stay longer. Because if you come, for example, at 7 p.m., you're going to spend 3 hours. But if you come at 5, I cannot put it there. You're going to spend 5 hours. But if you come at 4, you're going to spend 6 hours, and so on. So if you come early, you will stay longer, which means more time. So in this sentence, we have the if clause. What is the if clause? If you come early, you can see that it has the same color, so you can identify it. And we have the main clause. Remember, main means principal. So main clause is we will stay longer. This is the main clause, okay? So the conditional has 2 parts, the if clause and the main clause. When the if clause comes before the main clause, we separate them with a comma. When the if clause comes before the main clause, we separate them with a comma. Now, when it's the opposite, when the main clause comes before the if clause, then we do not separate them with a comma. So it's the order of the sentence. So, for example, if they don't come on time, comma, we will leave, okay? So we separate here this with a comma when the if clause is at the beginning of the sentence. Now, when the main clause is at the beginning, we do not use a comma. We will leave if they don't come on time. We will leave if they don't come on time. Okay, good. So remember that when the if clause is at the beginning, we separate them with a comma. If the main clause is at the beginning, then we do not use a comma. Okay, it's the same sentence, just in different orders. Conditional type 0. Now let's talk about conditional type 0. This is general information for you. Okay, very important, but general information. Now let's talk about conditional type 0. Type 0 conditionals express a general truth. A general truth, guys. What is a general truth? For example, the sun sets on the west. The sun rises on the east. That is a general truth. It happens all the time, every day, every day. That doesn't change, okay? That is a general truth. That doesn't change. That happens all the time. So that is a general truth, okay? A law of nature. A law of nature. What is a law of nature? Where that is something that will happen because it's the law. For example, if you, well, I'll give you the examples later. We have some examples here. Or something that always happens as a result of something else, okay? Something that always happens as a result of something else. So we got these three cases here. So this is conditional type 0, okay? You're gonna see the difference because this is not type 0. The examples here are with conditional type 1. You see? This is type 1, type 1. So here we're going to see type 0. So first example, if you heat water, it boils. What is heat? Heat is this part in here. If you heat water, like if you put fire on it, the water boils. Do you see how it boils the water in the picture? Let me see, I cannot do it that way. The water boils. Okay, let me erase that. No, can I move it? Yeah, I can move it. There you go. So the water is boiling, okay? It boils. So you can say if you heat water, it boils. The water boils. That is boil. Another example. If you put salt on ice, the ice melts. What is melts? It becomes water. Okay? It becomes water. It leaves the solid state and it becomes water, liquid. So if you put salt on water, it melts. You can do it in your house. Take a block of ice and put salt on it, and you will see how the ice will melt very fast. That's chemistry, okay? And let's move on. Form, like what is the structure of it? We have the if clause and we have the main clause. All conditionals have that form, main if clause and main clause. Now, what is the structure of the conditional type 0, the 0 conditional? The structure is if plus simple present, and in the main clause, we use simple present too. Okay, again, if plus simple present, and in the main clause, simple present too. For example, if you heat water, what is that? Simple present. It boils. What is that? Simple present. If you put salt, you put, what is that? Simple present. It melts. What is that? Simple present. You see? As simple as that. Another example. In this type of conditional, and this is very important, we can use when instead of if. In this type of conditional, we can use when instead of if. Why we can use when? Because remember, this conditional is about a general truth, a law of nature, and something that always happens as a result of something else. So in here, we can use when, because it will always happen. For example, if you boil water, it creates steam. What is steam? Steam is what you can see there. That is steam. Okay? That you see that you think is vapor, that's water evaporizing, that is steam. That's what you call steam. Okay? Steam. So, if you boil water, it creates steam. When you boil water, it creates steam. So it's the same to use if, and when in this type of conditional. So that's pretty much it. So what are the most important parts of it? Well, conditional type 0. Well, conditionals in general, so you have two parts. You have the if clause and you have the main clause, okay? Remember that. Conditional type 0 talks about a general truth, a law of nature, and something that always happens as a result of something else. And the structure is simple present, with if, of course, in the if clause. And you can use when and if in this conditional. All right, so thank you for listening. Guys, this is the explanation.